Speak no evil.
This one's gonna be rather difficult to talk about without getting into our rainbow rating.
True. This rainbow rating will permeate this entire review. However, we are still going to talk about this film quite positively.
Yeah, there's lots of good things about it.
Yes, it was more enjoyable than we thought it was going to be, despite the fact that there was a lot of rainbow shit going on.
Yeah, of course.
Remember that time you guys came to stay? You flipped out and tried to leave without saying goodbye?
It's an incredibly well-made movie. James McAvoy steals the show.
He is incredible in this movie.
It's fun as hell watching him.
Every scene that he is on camera just elevates the scene.
Oh, well, that is very sweet of you to say.
This is apparently an American version of a very recent Danish film, which is what we do now in America.
Been doing it since the days of Ringu.
Yes, Ringu. We were discussing this last night. We kind of give it a pass for being a remake because it's just our version of telling this story.
Yeah, I mean, you can just mention how shameless it is because we're just ripping off a foreign flick now. Just as shameless for other reasons.
Right. Usually if I'm gonna enjoy a remake, it's a movie that's like super old and really deserves a remake.
Fuck you too!
Neither of us saw the Danish version.
Yeah.
We know enough about it to understand the
Right.
differences between these two, but we went into this movie blind.
But we know what happens in it. We basically know the differences.
Yes.
We haven't seen it though. So.
Yeah, but that's okay, because this film on its own was very enjoyable.
It was.
It was a very slow burn film, and the performances by every actor in this film, as good as James McAvoy was,
They're all solid.
everyone in this film is solid. So at no point were we bored watching this movie.
Not at all.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, this movie is about what people do in awkward situations when things get weird.
Weird.
And they don't know how to get out of the situation. They don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. They don't know how to be honest.
Do they want to make the situation unpleasant by being honest?
Correct. So that is kind of the underlying theme of the entire film. However, it is told explicitly through the lens of extreme toxic masculinity.
That sounds kind of gay.
Yes.
Which is just in your face, nonstop, the whole film.
There were rumors that James McAvoy took inspiration from Andrew Tate, and apparently that's not the case.
Which he dispelled those rumors.
I think that was a headline taken out of context that I never said, and but it's become a headline. So I don't want to give it any more headlines. Is the character I play toxically masculine? Absolutely. Is that person the inspiration for this character? Absolutely not.
Don't challenge me. You're effectively challenging me to a fight now.
James McAvoy's MO is basically a stereotype of what a liberal thinks a conservative is.
Right. The way he treats his wife, the way he treats his son.
What is wrong with you? Just feel the rhythm in your feet. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Go!
What is wrong with you?
Getting into the plot. They're in Italy, I think, in the beginning, and we have our main family.
An American family in Europe.
And they meet McAvoy's family, who I think, he's British, his wife's Irish, whatever. They kind of hit it off, and you could tell that McAvoy is kind of steering things a little bit. He does some things early in this film to kind of test them, to see if they're the type of people that will set boundaries right away, or if they'll kind of just roll over. And of course, especially the husband, Scoot McNairy, he rolls like a fucking rug in this movie. They found their mark, right? So they befriend this couple, and they're like, well, you should come visit us at our country home in England, because they're living in London right now. And they're like, well, okay, maybe, whatever. So they go back to London. They're dealing with some personal shit.
Some marital problems.
Some job problems.
Right.
And they get a postcard in the mail, and it's them inviting them to come stay with them. And they're like, well, all right. We don't know them that well, but
maybe we need this.
Maybe we need this. Maybe our young daughter, she's got a little anxiety problems.
Right. She got along well with their son.
Yes, who's also got like
birth defect
where
he
his
can't
tongue,
talk.
Yeah, So he's got some social issues. So they think it'll be good for the daughter. So they go out to the country. And what proceeds is just these really great moments of awkwardness that McAvoy somehow always creates, but then he's always right there to diffuse them.
Or not diffuse them.
Or not diffuse them and kind of let them hang out in the air. We get our American couple who are just uneasy enough that they won't leave, but they still feel uncomfortable.
Oh no.
Thank God there's a doctor in the house. I'm not a doctor. What?
But didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I? Look at their faces. Of course I'm a bloody doctor.
And they spend a whole weekend there.
And as the weekend progresses, so do the eccentricities.
Yes,
and,
they start to escalate more and more.
And you start seeing more of a darker side to the James McAvoy character.
Right. As these situations are escalating, you're kind of thinking like, okay, time to leave.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Yet they don't leave, because coming back to that, how do we deal with awkward situations? We don't want to upset them. And it gets to the point where they finally do leave, and you think like, okay, well, they're out. But of course, their daughter has this stuffed animal that she absolutely needs. It's like kind of like a crutch.
They set up that she might be like on the spectrum or something.
She's got some kind of anxiety,
right? So she's
separation from this stuffed animal. She's
gonna throw a
herself.
fit, like scratching herself or something. That's the excuse that they gave.
And they go back for this stuffed animal.
Fucking bullshit.
Kid, we'll get you a new bunny. We're getting the fuck out of here.
So that's part of like what can make these sort of films frustrating.
The characters
decisions. Making dumb fucking decisions.
Yeah.
And I am happy to report that for the most part, it's believable and it works.
Yeah.
This instance though, it was stupid.
Once we hit that kind of like halfway point where they decide to go back for the bunny, then the decisions kind of start getting dumber and dumber. And it gets to the point where you're like, okay, why are you still here?
Exactly. I'm sorry, but if that happened, I don't care if my daughter's on the spectrum. Don't give a shit. I'd be like, honey,
we'll get you a new bunny.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah.
She can throw a fit the entire way home.
Yeah, honey,
it's just 2 hours.
You sit in the back, hold her hand so she doesn't scratch herself. We're going back to London.
Doesn't matter.
But based on who these American parents are, they don't do that, because ultimately they're cowards.
You're all a bunch of pussies!
They'd rather put other people's happiness over, I guess, the safety of their own child. However, where this differs from the Danish version is that the American mom in this, Mackenzie Davis, she's a little more
assertive,
strong, assertive than her husband, Ben, who's a total beta cuck.
If you want to cast a beta cuck male in your film, look no further than Scoot McNairy.
I can't even piss standing up.
I actually like Scoot McNairy as an actor. I think
like
he's a great actor.
I think he's a good actor.
But he totally fits the bill.
He just has that I'm a feminist look on his face.
I'm a male feminist, yeah.
I'm voting for Kamala look on his face, you know? Like, he was a Bernie bro back in the day, you know?
What?
Beta! So they set his character up from the very beginning. He is just playing second fiddle to his wife.
He's a total pussy.
He's a total pussy, right? And you think like, okay, well, that's fine if that's where you want the character to start. But if you're gonna have him kind of grow a pair by the end, we actually need to see that arc.
Yes.
And that arc never really comes.
Well, not only that, if this was made back in, I don't know, 10 years ago, before things got stupid, he would have been the lead character. It would have been about a family man learning to be the man of the house, growing a pair of balls. But because we're 2024, it's not the Scoot McNairy show, it's the Mackenzie Davis show.
Yeah.
So inevitably, the movie is about how competent and badass she is.
Yes. And now, you know, she has her moments where she falls into the same traps of not knowing how to like handle these awkward situations.
Ta-da!
Just to remind you, I'm a vegetarian.
Our gift to you.
That is so...
Louise, doctor's orders.
Very good.
But she ultimately does end up speaking up more always than he does.
Yeah.
Like he'll bitch, but always in private to her and about the daughter, but like he'll never do it in front of McAvoy.
Well, not only that, he's also second to pick up on all the cues where she's seeing it before him.
Yes.
Like she's understanding the danger before he does.
Right, right. So yeah, even going back to like when they're in Italy, she's got the daughter and she's like, oh yeah, like, you gotta go find the bunny. She left it somewhere. We're gonna go eat lunch. And he's just like, okay.
Key.
You see his frustration, like you could see bubbling under the surface that he wants to be a man, but he just can't do it. Like when he first meets McAvoy and McAvoy's acting the way he is, he kind of wants to emulate him.
Yeah.
He wants to have a beer and the wife's like, it's a little early.
Well, and there's that scene
it's a little early for beer.
There's
And
that
he's
scene where he's
like,
like, hey, McAvoy's like, do you play ball? And he's like, yeah, I play ball. And then she's like, His wife's like looking at him like, you fucking pussy. You don't play ball.
You don't play ball. Like just belittling him.
Completely gets demasculated.
Yeah. There's a scene where they go out to dinner together, just the adults, and McAvoy is talking about how him and his wife, they're like, oh yeah, you know, we have sex like every day. And she just jumps in, she's like, oh, he's lucky if he gets any once a month. And he's just looking at her like, what the fuck? He brings it up later. Once he starts like hanging out with McAvoy more, he starts being more confident.
Oh, is that what it is?
He starts being more toxic. Yeah, right. So he starts rubbing off on him, and by rubbing off on him, he like stands up to his wife. And
Exactly.
He's like, could you not like make me look like an asshole?
Right. Standing up to your
people?
wife now makes you a toxic man.
Right. And it's not even like standing up. It's just like when we're like talking to another couple, can you like treat me as an equal? Not like something to belittle.
It's already annoying enough that he actually has to have that conversation with her.
Right. But that conversation then leads to her getting defensive, and then we get the revelation about how she...
there's a little bit of a past between them. Apparently, Scoot has caught her sexting with someone, some guy. He found a dick pic on her phone. In this scene where that's revealed, they're arguing about it, rightfully so. He should be upset about it, still upset about it. They're dealing with it. And she fucking like throws shit back in his face.
Yeah.
Like telling him the things that he's at fault for.
Yeah, he might be at fault for whatever internal marriage problems they have.
Absolutely.
But like, she went outside the marriage. That's what this is.
Okay, all of those things that he did, not necessarily saying that they get thrown out the window, but that's now...
No, they don't get a pass. It's just that...
That's not the problem that things should be focused on right now.
Right.
But she throws it right in his fucking face.
Yeah.
And not only that, he just goes, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Pussy.
Despite the fact that this movie is building tension well, and you know, a lot of that is thanks to McAvoy. Like, I mean, he carries this film. Despite everyone being really good in it, he's doing all of the work.
He's very impressive.
And he's funny. There's a lot of great scenes, like when he takes the dad out hunting. Yeah. And they're driving out there, and he's just singing Eternal Flame, like, to his face in this long shot, and it's just not cutting.
Scoot's just driving.
He's just staring at him.
He's just looking at him singing. We were dying, man.
Yeah. The movie had a lot of good comedic moments in it, like awkward comedic moments that worked so well.
Yeah, things that, like, idiots like me and you think are funny.
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he takes him on this little hunting trip. He's, like, showing him, like, how to hunt a fox.
The way the scene starts is it's the scope POV on a fox. The crosshairs are right on it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Scoot with the gun. And he's like,
and you see the fox run out of the, and McAvoy's like, all right, we're not there yet.
He's just thinking, you fucking pussy.
And like, what's funny is like the conversation they get into about hunting earlier in the film when they're hiking, it's not even about like, oh, we're just going out to kill an animal. He starts talking about conservationism.
Yeah.
And how you have to like kind of take control of a certain population so the ecosystem doesn't get out of whack. And she has a line, of course, about like, well, you got to do that with a fucking man-made object. And it's like, bitch, shut up.
Yeah,
she's so morally superior.
She's morally superior. She's an environmentalist. She doesn't eat meat.
They get into like that fish activism debate.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But going back to when they go hunting, he takes him up to like, you know, a little mountain, a little hill, and he's like, let's just get out there and scream. Like, let it out. You'll feel like a man. They start screaming, and Scoot gets into it. He's like, scream, ah! And then it cuts to the wide shot, and there's that big phallic monument.
There's just like this big fucking dick on the side.
So on the nose.
Yeah. It's just so fucking dumb when these liberals make a movie.
Yeah.
They think they're being so creative, but it's like not subtle whatsoever.
Toxic giant dick.
Yeah.
We get it.
It reminded me of that scene in I Love You, Man, where they're both screaming underneath the pier, and then Paul Rudd's like, ah!
That was really good. Now gently remove your tampon and try again.
This all kind of builds to this third act where their daughter, she's kind of become friends with the son, the young boy whose tongue is missing.
Which we find out was cut off.
We find out that it was cut out, but the actual surprise is that he's not their son. He takes them into the barn, this like locked up room, and there's all these like suitcases and memorabilia, and there's like, it looks like a trophy room basically.
Right.
And you find out that they go on vacation, they prey on weak families, and then they bring them back to their place. They kill them and they empty their bank accounts and they like take their kids and then raise them as their own. So this kid was a Danish kid that they took from a family. So you're trying to figure out like, okay, well, he got his tongue cut out. He could still kind of speak and write things to them, but then you see him writing like gibberish at one point. And you realize it's another language.
Yes.
It's Danish or whatever it is. He can't communicate with them. So he shows the daughter this and clues her in like, you guys are next. And she's like, shit, I got to tell my parents.
Right.
And at this point, things have escalated to the point where they've decided now for the second time, they are leaving.
I need to get out of here now. Please, what are you doing?
Okay in there?
Yeah, we're all good.
But they're still trying to figure out like the best way to break the news.
Right.
Once the daughter communicates to them like, no, we are in danger, we have to get the fuck out of here. The parents are like, okay, we gotta go.
Everyone's
and
on board.
now it's survival mode, and we get into the third act. And as soon as this happens, they're locked in the bathroom. The McAvoy family comes looking for them, and fucking Scoot McNairy.
Yeah, he has no idea what to do.
He has no idea what to do.
Yeah.
And the mom's like, well, obviously, okay, we gotta defend ourselves, we gotta stay calm, we gotta do this, and she takes charge. And they're like, okay, well, let's just go out there. We're going to act like everything's okay. We're gonna get in the car, we're gonna leave, and they go out there, and it's like this long, drawn-out sequence that was, you know,
pretty tense.
Good tension, because you're just waiting for that shoe to drop. Like, when is he gonna switch over and be like, no, you're fucked, we're gonna kill you now. There's like a flat tire on their car. He helps them change their tire, and there's so many moments where he's kind of like leading Scoot McNairy around. Like, he takes him into the barn, there's all these tools everywhere, and like you think, like, is he gonna jump him now? Is he gonna try and kill him now? And you're just waiting for this guy to die. But then he goes out and he changes the tire, and everything's fine. And then it's like, wait, where's the bunny again? It's fucking bunny.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Stop losing your fucking bunny. It's the most important possession you own.
Plus,
you keep
at this
losing
point,
it.
it's so obvious that they're being fucked with, you know?
Yeah. So the bunny's like up on the roof, and he makes Scoot go up a ladder, and he gets the bunny down. It's all messed up. They finally get in the car. They're about to go out of the gate, and this is when Scoot finally, one of his testicles slightly descends a little bit. Just a little bit. McAvoy takes their fake son, throws him in a lake, and they know he can't swim, and of course, Scoot stops the car and jumps in and saves the kid and prevents them from leaving, and then McAvoy closes the gate.
He was an idiot, though, because they should have driven past the gate first.
Go out of the gate and then come back in and jump in the lake.
But whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So this is what leads us into our third act, which we had problems with from the husband-wife dynamic situation. However, it was good in the sense that they kind of barricade themselves in the house, and they're just trying to look for weapons.
It's a realistic portrayal of being in that house, like, frantically not knowing what to do. You know? And it does make you think, like, holy shit, they're kind of fucking up right here. But at the same time, like, what would I do in that situation? I don't know. Like, that'd be kind of a crazy situation.
They kind of barricade themselves into the house. McAvoy and his wife, and then a neighbor who's in on the scheme. They're outside trying to get in.
You're gonna kill us. He went dead.
At this point, you're kind of like, shit, what are they gonna do? And this is when Scoot turns to his wife and he's like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. He flat out says, I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man!
Not only that, you were so right. I'm so sorry I didn't listen to you. Oh my God, what the fuck, man?
I got a little dick. It's pathetic.
We're in the third act. It's time to grow a pair, right? It's time for you to arc, bro.
The movie's just so obvious with its agenda. It's annoying.
Yeah. Allowing him to be competent in any way would put him too close to McAvoy. It'd make him too toxic. So he's got to be like second to Mackenzie Davis the whole time. He finally has like one idea, like they're gonna light the roof on fire.
He's in a Molotov cocktail roof, light it on fire so a neighbor might see it.
Somebody might see it. Send the cops, whatever.
So he preps this Molotov cocktail, and he's just like, oh, okay, open the window now. And they shoot at him when they open the window, and he's like, ah! And then he opens the window and
he daintily throws it.
Yeah, it's like Small is throwing the fucking baseball in Sandlot.
Yeah. It hits the roof, just rolls off, and lands on McAvoy's car and blows his car up.
Well, it ends up working out in his favor, I guess, but it was a total fuck up. And he's even like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot.
Oh, fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot.
So she gets the kids to hide. He goes off because they hear like this neighbor guy coming in through the roof. So he grabs like a hammer. He's like, oh, I'm going to go upstairs and try and take care of this guy. So he goes upstairs, and then she barricades herself downstairs. She finds this serving fork, which was seen earlier in the film when McAvoy gives her some chicken. They draw attention to this, like she's going to get him back with it now. So he tries to break in, she like stabs him in the arm, she runs off, then he comes after her, and then she squirts him in the eyes with some chemicals. So she's like doing all this shit. And meanwhile, Scoot's upstairs.
Hiding in a closet.
He's hiding in a closet. He gets attacked by this dude. You think like, oh, maybe he's gonna take him out. No, he's about to get killed, and the wife comes in, takes the dude out. So then they're like, okay, well, we gotta like go out this window now. We gotta climb down the ladder that guy came up. That's when McAvoy's wife comes in, and she's about to fuck some shit up. And oh, there's Mackenzie Davis. Takes her out, no problem, but then the ladder falls, and then that testicle is almost descended. He saves his daughter. He struggles pulling her back up, this 80-pound girl, and then he drops off the roof. He falls like at least 20 feet, probably breaks his ankle so he could put the ladder back up. And it's like, okay, you finally did something.
Whoopie fucking do.
He basically screams when when he fucking snaps his ankle. God, man. Okay, fine. It's heroic though.
But it's like heroic in such a like bitch way.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like,
then he's limping on
really
for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. So he puts the ladder up, they all come down, and they have their final run-in with McAvoy. Of course, he drops his gun because he's got the daughter. And the daughter from an earlier scene
has some ketamine.
Yes, she's got the syringe. She sticks McAvoy with it. He goes down. He's basically paralyzed. And this is when Scoot's over him now with the gun.
He picks up the shotgun.
And he walks away. And that's when the little Danish boy comes over and fulfills his destiny.
McAvoy says, "That's my boy." And then we now see the sequence where toxic masculinity has transferred,
yes, it is transferred
to the next
from
generation.
McAvoy to the next generation.
Yes.
And he just smashes McAvoy's face in with a rock like 15 times. They get in the car, and then the daughter's like, "Hey, I don't need my bunny anymore." Gives it to the boy, and we're out.
I need you to be brave.
We kind of just shit all over this movie, but we actually liked it.
Okay, yeah. So the way the tension is handled, it's excellent.
Pacing, tension,
Yes.
acting, for the most part, writing,
Like,
it's pretty solid.
Most movies nowadays, they don't even give a shit if it makes sense or not. They don't care. You know, this movie tried to like cover its bases though, where you think to yourself, why the fuck is he like doing all this? McAvoy, why doesn't he just take them and kill them and get the things that he
Right,
wants?
because for him, it's about the hunt.
When their friend shows up to help them, he's like, "You're like a cat. You like playing with your food." You know?
Yeah,
And
exactly,
It's a quick line, but it explains where McAvoy's head is.
Exactly.
And you buy it because of just how insane he
You've
is.
been watching him the whole movie.
Exactly.
Just
you can tell
going-
that they tried making it tight.
Yeah, all the way just going back to the beginning of the film, like when he chooses the family, that's the hunt. Like
Yes.
that's what he likes to do.
Exactly.
So he just spends the whole movie just fucking with them because
Right.
he enjoys it. So you buy it. Where you kind of suspend the disbelief a little is when these people are making dumb decisions and you're like, fuck. All right. Would I
Yeah.
make the same stupid decision in this crazy situation? Oh, you know. But for the most part, it's fairly realistic.
Like you said, you buy it. And that's the problem with movies nowadays, is they never make it so you buy it. They just show you a bunch of bullshit and like you just have to go with it. As the plebs say, just turn your brain off and enjoy it. I'm not gonna turn my fucking brain off.
No,
It's stupid.
I like knowing that the writers actually thought through their fucking script.
Exactly.
I know we can both be.
A bit much.
Other than that, it surprised us. We can definitely recommend it. I went 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I was enjoying myself.
All right, I gave it a 6.5, so
Okay,
I'm
that's
right
fine.
there with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird review because we're giving it a higher score, but yet the rainbow rating is going to be high as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
for us. You know, usually it's like the higher it is, the shittier the score is.
This whole toxic masculinity thing, and then Mackenzie Davis and Scoot McNairy's characters, they're so reversed. And people are going to be like, oh, what, the fucking wife's not allowed, she's supposed to just sit there and be protected the whole movie. It's like, no, she could still do shit, but can you make him slightly more competent
but-
so it's like they're a team?
The shenanigans with Mackenzie Davis one-upping her husband got so annoying that the woman next to us was like, oh man, she's better than him.
She's better than him.
She flat
like she was shocked.
Those were her words exactly. She's better than him. We had no shit, you think?
Man, I could be better than my husband.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not saying that like chicks can't be competent in films or whatsoever. They can be. That's fine. It's just so plainly obvious that the filmmakers had this agenda making it. I always use this example, RoboCop.
Your move, creep.
RoboCop is a very left-wing movie. It was made in the 80s during the Reagan era, so the movie is basically shitting on Reaganomics, corporations taking over the country, etc., whatever.
Right.
And it's fine. Like, you can accept that, like, all right, well, I don't believe that, but the movie is told so well that you respect it. This does not do that necessarily.
No. This, especially in like how you were saying earlier, like it's 2024 now. Things are very on the nose. They're very in your face. You don't get that subtlety you used to get with those old movies where the messaging is still there, but it's so perfectly woven into the story that you almost miss it.
It's not front and center.
It's
These
just
people
the-
make it front and center.
Yes, like when they're standing on a hill screaming and we cut
Right.
to a wide shot and there's a giant phallic monument
It's a
next to
giant
them.
cock right next to them.
Yeah,
And
it's like, okay. I went 3.5 out of 5.
I did too.
It could have gone a lot further with certain things. You know, it just wasn't the type of movie. It had a very singular message that it was focused on.
Toxic
it
masculinity.
just went really hard. But I mean, despite the high rainbow rating, like it's still a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, overall, it's solid. I just wish it was made 10 years ago. Then it would have been like,
Yeah, also agree.